Hi, and welcome to the Next Tour podcast. I'm Andia Dynison, and I'm here with my husband.
Hi, I'm Ian.
And we're here to talk to you about military transition. This is our introduction to you, and we're here to talk to you. And actually, today is Veterans Day.
My first Veterans Day.
Your first Veterans Day.
Yes.
It's so exciting. And Ian just retired January 1st of 2024. And we're launching this podcast. It might be a couple months from now, but we really wanted to start this on Veterans Day. And we wanted to share our story. We wanted to share who we are and why we thought it was important to do this. So I'll kick it to you, babe.
All right. So I, as Andy had mentioned, retired out of the Air Force after a little more than 23 years. I became a civilian effective January of 2024. I was a career Air Force officer, retired as a colonel. My last duty station was my 5th assignment in the Pentagon. I worked for the Inspector General, and I had a tremendous career, met so many wonderful people, and gained a lot of friends along the way. So I think the big part of why we wanted to do this and why, my time in the military, matters to this podcast is because of the mentorship, both that was provided to me and us, I would say, right?
Yeah, definitely.
As we began our transition journey was tremendously important. But moreover, as I crossed that bridge, we've been asked multiple times to be able to be mentors for those that are facing this pretty daunting task of finding what's next for them after coming off of whatever tour that they've had. So I think it's very good to be able to provide some of this back, pay it forward, if you will. Because there's a lot that we learned that we thought we knew. There was a lot that we didn't know. And I would say there was even more so that we didn't know. So those unknown unknowns, right? It's a pretty challenging world to navigate, or it can be if you're not prepared. So we want to be able to help you and your families be able to transition and land on 2 feet in whatever you decide you want to do the most effectively that you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Great points, babe. So I think, it's kind of important to know a little bit about who we are. Obviously, Ian shared who he is and what his background is, but why do you care hearing from me? So I'm actually an accredited financial counselor. So I've spent the last 14 years working in the financial education and counseling space. I work for a nonprofit trade association that represents military banks. And I've been working in this space for a long time, so I've learned a lot. I try to talk to a lot of people and gain a lot of knowledge. And I think over the 14 years that I've been, blessed to be in this career, I think that, like you were saying, to pay it forward, right? Mm-hmm. We want to be able to share these experiences. We know a lot of this stuff. We've learned so much over this past 11 months. I forgot how long
it's been. A minute, yeah.
But I think it'll be really helpful to share some of those with others. So we want to bring some of our friends on. We want to bring some of our contacts, some, subject matter experts to talk about different benefits, even the things we don't want to talk about, like survivorship, things that are vitally important in decision making when you're going through transition. So I think that's kind of what we're here for, why we care. One more thing about us, we have 2 daughters. They're both in college, so navigating that space has been interesting as well. So we're empty nesters, and why not just take on a new passion project, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. And empty nesting at the same time we were transitioning. So a lot going on there. And, I know our story isn't necessarily unique, but I think it provides a lot of context into some of the questions that we've been asked over, really the last, even more than 11 months of being a retiree. But as our time preceded all of that, as we prepped to do that transition. So really the last couple of years have been, fraught with, so much information and so many questions and hurdles and, wins, I would say. A lot of really great things out there, from everything from learning about how to do our taxes differently, how to calculate some of these income pieces, what questions to ask as you begin this journey, where these resources are at, healthcare. Oh my gosh, and the list goes on and on and on and on, right?
Absolutely. And I think what's important too is that, as I go out and meet people, and you do as well, we've talked about the fact that not unique in the situation that you've already had 2 jobs since
Right.
you retired. And
Right.
so I think that's an important story to tell. And so we want to tell our story, which we will do on the next episode. And then we want to, like I said, bring guests on and chat with them and really help this, bring a wealth of knowledge and information to our listeners and viewers. And we're just excited to share this journey with you all.
Absolutely. Thanks so very much, and we will see you on the next tour.
The views, opinions, and advice expressed by our guest on the next tour are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast, Andia, or any affiliated organizations. While we strive to provide helpful and accurate information, this podcast is for informational purposes only. We encourage listeners to consult with professionals or conduct their own research before making any significant decisions related to military transition or post-service life. The content is intended as guidance and personal perspective, not as official advice.